In December 2018, our world was flipped upside down when we were told the crushing news that our sweet daughter Kinsley had cancer.
Just 3 days prior, the only symptom that Kinsley had was redness in her eye, which was diagnosed the week prior as a typical case of pink eye. When the redness was still present a week later, I took Kinsley to the eye doctor for a second opinion when I suddenly realized by the doctor's reaction that something wasn't right, and I texted Adam to get there as soon as possible.
Shortly after I arrived, the doctor told us that Kinsley had no vision in her right eye due to a detached retina that could be the result of either trauma or a tumor. This news hit me harder than anything I could have ever imagined and literally took me to the ground. The last time I heard the word tumor in discussion was less than a year prior when Kim and I attended the funeral for a friend of ours' 7-year-old daughter who lost her life to a brain tumor. After blacking out in the hallway of the doctor's office and regaining consciousness, I knew there was no other option but to stay strong for Kinsley and Kim and get to work on making sure that she received the best possible care.
At that point, we needed more answers and immediately headed to All Children's Hospital in St. Pete, where a pediatric ophthalmologist did an ultrasound and confirmed the detached retina, but also told us that he was 99% sure that Kinsley didn't have a tumor. As you can imagine, we felt a huge sense of relief that he didn't find this tumor in Kinsley's eye. But we didn't waste any time and we headed down to meet with a retina specialist in Miami the following morning to see if the detached retina could be repaired. After a full day of additional testing, we were told again by a second doctor that there doesn't appear to be a tumor, but a further evaluation under anesthesia would be necessary to see if Kinsley's retina could be reattached to save Kinsley's vision.
7 p.m. that evening was a moment that I will never forget. Kim and I were the last parents in the post-op waiting room, eager to learn whether they were able to reattach Kinsley's retina. Instead, the surgeon told us that Kinsley had an advanced stage tumor in her right eye that needed to be treated immediately. It was a moment that we often describe as every parent's worst nightmare. A moment of fear, a moment of darkness, and a moment of uncertainty as to whether or not our sweet girl was going to be taken away from us.
In just 72 hours, we went from what was believed to be pink eye to meeting with a team of oncologists to discuss the treatment protocol for a very aggressive eye cancer known as retinoblastoma. This is a cancer that, if not stopped early enough, would spread down Kinsley's optic nerve and into her brain.
That day, my perspective on life changed forever. I went from spending long days in the office, laser focused on running our business, to spending long days on the pediatric oncology floor, supporting Kinsley during the fight of her life. It was truly a humbling experience, and I thank God often for Kim's motherly instinct to get a second opinion and take what I believe was the first step in saving Kinsley's life.
With our business, Adam and I have spent the last 10 years being problem solvers, being fixers, delivering ways to help business owners reach their full potential of running a successful practice. As people that are driven by helping others and consistently delivering solutions, it was hard to process and accept the lack of control we had over the most important job that we have ever faced, saving Kinsley's life.
I've always believed and often say that life is full of choices. Although Kim and I were crumbling inside because we couldn't fix Kinsley's cancer, we chose to focus our energy on making sure that Kinsley felt loved and trusted that her mommy and daddy were going to be with her every step of the way.
However, we couldn't have done it alone. Our strength came from our strong faith and the support that we received from our amazing family, our amazing friends, and our amazing community, and Kinsley's amazing medical team at Nicholas Children's Hospital in Miami.
Words cannot express our sincere gratitude for the doctors, the nurses, the child life specialists who work so hard around the clock to provide hope, comfort, and love to these little warriors. They are true angels.
The courage and spirit that Kinsley had during chemo treatment, during each blood draw, and even just hours after surgery when her right eye was removed was amazing. But the number of children and families that are impacted by cancer is heart-wrenching. Every single day in the US alone, 43 children are diagnosed with cancer, and worldwide, a child is diagnosed with cancer every 2 minutes. These are the stats that drive us every day to take action and do more.
For Kinsley, cancer took her eye, but she never lost her positive spirit, and her kind heart, and her desire to help others.
The mission of Kinsley's Cookie Cart is to raise awareness, support, and funding for pediatric cancer. But more specifically, our vision is to provide little warriors who are actively fighting their battle with items that bring them comfort and also fund groundbreaking clinical trials that are focused on providing more effective and less toxic treatment options for these sweet children. With the outpouring of support, Kinsley has had the opportunity to bring joy and comfort to so many children and their families in the hospital by providing things such as iPads, blankets, hospital decorations, and protective glasses for other retinoblastoma survivors. Having been one of those families in the hospital less than a year ago, we know firsthand the positive impact that these small acts of kindness can have on their life as they spend long days in the hospital or quarantined in their home.
However, when we look at the treatment options that are available and the money that is being allocated to childhood cancer research, many people don't know that there have only been 4 medications approved since 1980 for childhood cancer, and only 4% of the national budget is allocated to childhood cancer research. Again, these stats are hard to even process when there are 7 kids in the U.S. each day that die from cancer. Many children will still receive a cancer diagnosis that has a 0% survival rate. These children are not even given the opportunity to fight due to the lack of effective treatment options available, which is why we are committed to funding trials that are focused on groundbreaking pediatric cancer research.
To hear that your child has cancer is heart-wrenching enough, but for parents to also be told that there are no more treatment options available to save their child is devastating. One of our good friends, Russ and Barbara, faced this horrifying reality in 2016.
Their daughter Avery is the 7-year-old girl that I mentioned earlier who lost her life to a brain tumor known as DIPG. A brain tumor that impacts 200 to 400 kids in the US each year and currently has a 0% survival rate. When you hear these stats, you can see that there's a tremendous need for more effective treatment options that will give our sweet children and their families more hope. In memory of Avery, it is our honor to introduce the Avery Fund. We have established a partnership with the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation to provide specific funding for a groundbreaking brain tumor trial at the University of Florida in honor of Avery. It is our hope that the Avery Fund will not only provide strength to Russ and Barb and ensure that Avery is never forgotten, but also that the funds allocated to this clinical trial will result in more effective treatment options to give other little warriors and their families more hope.
As Kinsley continues to gain support from donors like you who believe in her mission, we will continue to fund groundbreaking research for pediatric cancer until there is a cure for every single cancer that impacts our sweet children.
As parents who nearly lost their child to this terrible disease, Kim and I have a tremendous amount of compassion that is driving our mission. From the beautiful moment when Kinsley asked me to build her a cookie cart so that she could help other kids in the hospital, we haven't slowed down and don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. Our hope is that one day Kinsley and her brother Reed will kick us out of the driver's seat and finish any work that needs to be done to cure all childhood cancers.
In the meantime, one thing that we want to be crystal clear on is that Kinsley's cookie cart will always be led with the same high level of ethics, transparency, and fiscal responsibility that we've always ran our business with.
In closing, I want to share a clip from an article on compassion that I read a few months ago and really struck a chord for me, and I hope it does for you as well. It stated that empathy is the gateway to compassion. It's understanding how someone feels and trying to imagine how that might feel for you. Compassion takes it further. It's feeling what that person is feeling, holding it, accepting it, and taking some kind of action. The article went on to say that compassion is empathy in action, and your actions don't have to be big or life-changing. Compassion is all about realizing that we all ultimately want the same things out of life. Things such as love, safety, health, and happiness, and responding in an appropriate way. We all know someone whose life has been impacted by cancer. For some of you, it's a friend. For some of you, it's a grandson or granddaughter. And for some of you, it's your own child. Childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children under the age of 15 in the US. And I think it's fair to say that we all have empathy for the children and the families that are impacted by this terrible disease. It is my hope that you will have compassion to continue helping Kinsley help others at any capacity that you are able, because together we are stronger, and together we will be able to impact the lives of so many kids and their families that need our help.